Peace. This is Divine God Be a Law, and I basically want to address a question that the sister asked me. She asked me, here, let me go to the message so I can make sure I get the right exact question she asked me. But for the most part, the sister, she asked me. She said, "I'm writing a paper. For the and me and the professor are at odds. I want to know if you can help me with the direction. They say fatherless is a big part of what's wrong in our communities. But as I study being fatherless, started with the slave trade. So how much accountability should be made to the white man that raped us, that started this, and was this the start to black men having to help take care of another man's kids?" I know I'm kind of all over. I hope you get my concept. Okay. For the one, it is definitely the white man's fault who raped our women, and made slaves out of our people, for the black man not being a part of his family. Because one thing that they did in the slavery days when they first got us over here, and they seen that we was actually strong people and we stayed together, we stuck together, they seen the father was a strong part in the family. And for the most part, they to break that family structure, they knew that they couldn't just tell you this and tell you that. They knew that you still was gonna, do what you do, think how you think, be who you want to be, and that was strong, and that was basically counterproductive to the slave trade. So what they did was they took the man, they had the man and the woman together, and told the woman, "You will never see this man again." And they had this man, and they told the man that you will never see this woman again. And they would ship the man off. If he was like a strong built man, they'd ship him off and just use him to just make babies with all these other people. You know what I mean? They'll just use him as like a breeding stock. You know what I mean? So yeah, they definitely have damn near all the accountability, for a black man not being able to take care of his family. Also, the so-called war on drugs. When the CIA brought drugs into North America, that was their way of controlling the population of free blacks. You know what I mean? So it's like all throughout history they do what they can to make laws against the black man procreating. Look at how they make it hard for us to get jobs, and then they go ahead and put us in jail for selling drugs to feed our family. You know what I mean? You got to pay all this child support when they make it hard for you to get a job, and they take your license away if you're not able to pay child support. They make it easy for a woman to get a job, so that it makes it seem like the man is nothing. Then I start arguments inside the house, like you're being lazy, you don't want to do nothing with yourself, you ain't nobody, you're nothing, you're a good for nothing dude, you're a bum, you're old bum ass, blah blah blah, this and that. So I got to go ahead and take it back further than the slave trade to Christianity, when they made God invisible. I don't know how you can get it. I don't know if you go and get into religion with your paper, but in religion, at first we had the black God, the sun God, Asar, who had the wife Aset and the son Heru. Go ahead and study that. Asar, Aset, and Heru. Study that and see how it was actually a black man that people said was God, and he had a queen, or people say that's a goddess. You know what I mean? Isis, or Aset, or Aset, or I forgot exactly how you pronounce that. Aset, but that's the queen Isis. In Greek, they call it Osiris, Isis, and Horus. In Egyptian, it's Asar, Aset, and Heru. And what the Christians did is they understood that a black man was God, and they did not want to go teach their people this. So what they did when they got that story from us, they went and twisted it and gave it to their people and told their people that God is an invisible being. And that's just like how when they got over here to the North America with the slaves, they took the father away from the family. Just like in the Bible, the Holy Father is nowhere to be found. You just see the Holy Mother and the Holy Son. Hey God, come add on your little part, G.
Yes, sir.
Or yeah, the guy finna add on his part. He ain't trying to be on camera, so you just gonna hear the guy's voice. You know what I mean?
To understand the condition right now,
I need some more light.
as far as the black man not taking care of his child, it's a dynamic thing. It's a lot of factors that come into play. But one of the main things I would touch on, if I was doing a research paper or I was trying to bring forth evidence supporting that, is cultural heritage. Cultural heritage is very important. If you understand cultural heritage and you relate that to slavery, and then you relate that to what's going on right now with the black man in America, what you will see is that prior to slavery, it was unheard of for a black man to have a baby and not take care of his child, because that wasn't part of our cultural heritage. The cultural heritage that was handed down prior to slavery consisted of having strong family structure with the man, woman, and child. And, that's what was the norm and the standard. And people didn't too much stray from that norm and standard. Now, with slavery, what happened was you had the destruction of the original man's original cultural heritage. And with that destruction, you had the original man having to take on a whole new culture in order to survive the new environment. So, for example, during slavery times, a black man wasn't even allowed to be a man, let alone be a father. He couldn't be a husband. If he had a wife, the master or any other white man could come and rape his wife and do what they want to with his wife whenever they wanted to. Yep. So in that sense, what it did was
it took our manhood.
It took the black man's manhood away. And then as far as the black man's children, let's say the black man did have a woman back in slavery days and he impregnated her. The baby can either get sold off as soon as the baby's born or as soon as it gets a certain age by the white man, or the baby can be raped, mutilated, murdered, enslaved, whatever, by the white man, and the black man had no power to intercede on his child's behalf. So what happened was, the only thing a black man could do to survive that type of situation without going crazy and killing himself was to change his mentality, his way of thinking. We have to adopt a way of thinking of, you know what? I can't take care of this child anyway. I can't do enough for him anyway. I don't have any control or power to protect and provide for my child or even possess my child, because the black man was considered property at that time, and property can't possess property. You know what I'm saying? Property can't own nothing. You know what I'm saying? So basically, in a nutshell, what happened was, man, the way the black man dealt with that type of situation is that he pretty much let go. He pretty much stopped caring. He pretty much stopped caring about being a father. Pretty much stopped caring about being a husband, because to care would destroy him. To care about being a husband and see your wife get raped every night would destroy you. To care about being a father and see your child get enslaved and raped and mutilated and sold off would destroy you. So he had to kind of psychologically guard himself by not caring. And then what happened was, like I said, cultural tradition. He passed that way of thinking down to others, or he didn't necessarily have to pass it down, but the conditions made that way of thinking a way of thinking that was most conducive to you surviving. So in so many words, man, this way of thinking was passed down from generation to generation to the present day, where you got black men who don't really care about being a husband or being a father, because that way of thinking was passed down from slavery. Peace.
Yeah, peace. That was a great point that the God made. It's just like how at first we was like we were the kings and queens of all things: mathematics, civilization, cultures, clothing, houses, family structures, all that. We made the first thing, all that. We made the first clothes, all that. And we made the highest contributions to all societies. People came to us to learn how to build on the family structure. So with AG, what are some sources that she can study again?
All right, we'll come back on that.
Okay, well, you know what? We're just going to make a part 2 because it's getting too long. Besides that, peace, study those different things that I gave you and look at the different connections between that. Besides that, if you need more, get back to me. I'll make a part 2. Peace.